No topic left untouched. Much respect.
It's your boy Scoonie, used to get high as coolie. Now I spit moody, make beats that super groovy. See, Willin' that sticky, told me Spoon is no biggie. So I sample Biggie, grab a drink and got tipsy. Rock with me for
What up?
What up?
What it do? What it do?
What up, peoples?
It's your boy DJ Echo.
It's that boy Articulate One. Sage.
Fact. You know, man, another topic. Just getting right back into it, man. Can't slow it down. Good question. Good thought. Want to know your opinion about it. We got opinions about it. Something my boy Sage brought up, man, and it's kind of something that I think we all should be thinking about, man, right about now. You know, in my opinion. But Trey, what was it you was talking about, man?
Man, I got something that I think is the more I think about it, it's kind of an onion where you it's kind of a layered topic that goes deeper the more you talk. But I wanna ask. I'm gonna take a little bit of a different approach. I'm gonna hit y'all with a couple topics, and we'll bust them down. And go back to them one at a time. About reparations and what that means to our folks. With how does that all work and all of that. So the positions that I'm wanting to kind of pose to y'all is, number one, is it something that's even worth pursuing? Is it something that we're owed? Is it something that we need to, like some folks say, quit dwelling on the past and move on? Is it something to where it's going to make a bigger divide more than it is bridges together? So number one is this something that we should even be looking for?
Reparations, right?
Reparations. Hold on. Number two is who gets it. Number three is it a sliding scale or is it a flat rate? So let's start with those three things, and if we go deeper, we go deeper.
Well, if you don't mind, let me go ahead and you know what I'm saying, because when I found out we was gonna be doing this episode, you know me, I like technicality, and I want to know what reparations really is. So we'll go ahead and break down the definition real quick. Reparations: the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. The example would be the compensation for war damage paid by a defeated state. Or, the second definition would be the action of repairing something. Okay, so just wanted to make sure that we fully understand what we're talking about here.
So it's to put a monetary value on damage done to you or
someone
your
has
city
been wrong,
or whoever has been wrong, a set of people.
Correct.
Okay, understood. Okay, well for me that helps, that clarifies things. So like I say, number one, is this something that we should pursue in the sense that I wonder if pursuing something like this would not only divide us from each other, from other black folks, but from other races in America too. I wonder if there would be a certain, and you know how this culture is in modern times, is there might be a certain jealousy, a certain repercussion, a certain backlash that comes to black folks for getting a check for things that didn't happen to them specifically, but it did traumatize their culture, you know, their lives, and we could go deeper into that separately. But sticking to reparations, is it something that we pursue because this might be kind of doing more harm than good? Is this something that we pursue just because we're owed, or is this something we should move past because you're asking the same person who wronged you to make things right just voluntarily.
Well,
I mean, hell, do we even deserve it? Do we really deserve reparations, bro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. The American has been built on the black folks backs of black folks since day one. You know what I mean? So, as far as what you see in today's time, these older establishments that have historical representation, those were here because of things our forefathers have done. So, yes, absolutely. Because what happened was, what do we celebrate now? The woke culture now celebrates Juneteenth. What happened was they just let us go 2 years after the fact of us even being let go of being slaves, and then just one day said y'all could go, or you can stay here and work off your debt, which most times they wasn't even working off no debt. They was still working for the man who wasn't paying them nothing. They just had housing. So yeah, we absolutely are owed reparations. Now my question is how much is that? What is 40 acres and a mule in today's time? How do I get paid that out? And to be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie, I looked it up. You know what I'm saying? I looked it up. So I'm gonna let you know right now. And I believe you went a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, let's break it down. What's the population or percentage of Black Americans or African Americans?
From a quick Google search, it was 395.5 million.
Okay. So that would be the group of people that we're looking to get reparations for. Within that group of a total of $6.4 trillion is owed to that group. So if we break that number down,
according to someone else's calculations,
all
hold on, that's hold on.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother topic. We're just talking about what this quick Google search did as far as who's on the census for African Americans. You know, we'll say with history of maybe slavery, and we'll have to figure that out too, right? So,
out of $6.4 trillion that's owed from an arbitrary number that whoever made up, and the 395.5 million Black Americans, the breakdown divided down to something close to $19,493.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's 40 acres and a mule in today's time.
It's less than 20
40
grand.
acres and a mule.
It's less than 20 grand per Black person. So, if we're going to use that as a standard, which I think that is extremely low, but I would then think that you would need to identify who is Black.
How do you do that?
And this is where I bring up the idea of who gets it and is it on a sliding scale. So, this might be harsh, but do my biracial folks get 50% of what I do? Do my hold on.
Wait. So you say just to be clear, I understand your question.
You say roots come from it, yes.
So if my mixed homeboy that's Black and white,
who live next door to me in the hood with some shit ass situations, continue.
He's supposed to get 8,000 and some change.
8,000 and some change.
I don't care about if he or she, mom or dad is white. If they dad or mom is Black, and that dad or mom, first of all, was here in 1865 and past that, because in 18 or before that.
But isn't it?
Hold on. Let me finish. I'm gonna say it. This is why I'm saying it, because that's to answer your question. That is where it gets to a point where I say, well, it should be determined where your forefathers were enslaved or slave. Because in 1865, the Union Major, General William T. Sherman, you know what I'm saying, was the one that ordered the land confiscated from Confederate landowners to be divided into the 40-acre portions. It wasn't until President Andrew Johnson that was eliminated. So me, I have an issue with that, bro, because it's like, first of all, that's 1865. We still went through
So
hell.
what you saying?
We still went through hell after that. So I think we are owed more than 40 acres in a mule.
40
Because we
acres in a
still went through. This was
I see what you're
1865.
saying.
This was 1865 when this 40 acres a mule that everybody keeps.
You had your chance to
like
give
you
us our
keep
40 acres of a
undercutting
mule, now we
yourself,
want more.
bro. You're undercutting
Okay,
yourself.
here
But
goes number one. Here goes
think
number
about
one.
Dr. Martin Luther King was born what year? Civil rights was what year? That was made.
I don't know when he was born, but he
Oh,
died in
but think
68.
about it, right? 1865 is when that was brought up. This is 2021. How many? What has my people been through just up until the point of Dr. King? And you think I still am worth 40 acres and a mule?
Number one.
No.
Number one.
Electricity was created in that time. What else did we do? What else did black people do from after 1865? So I want more than that 40 acres. 40 acres is chump change to me, just like you just pointed out.
Number one.
That's a good point.
40 acres and a mule is worth more than $20,000. So even if you stick to some shitty bar right here of 40 acres and a mule according to old timey 1800 whatever bullshit you just said, I would still prefer
The 40 acres.
40 acres and a fucking donkey before I could take your $20,000 check with
Which is
taxes
gonna
on
be
it.
14
Probably
$5,000
probably at lottery
For every
prices.
10,
So you gonna get hit for
18%,
38%, some crazy amount like that. So that means that your 20 grand turns into about a Swiss 17 when you're done.
For every 10,000, you getting 5,000 chopped out.
I mean, not even 17. That means you're looking at closer to 12.
They're
then.
gonna get half.
You're
They're
looking
gonna get half.
Once again.
As real as it gets. Trust
So
me.
wait,
If you-
time out. I just want to make sure I understand.
Let me finish
Wait.
this idea. And if you're talking about the equivalent to 40 acres and a mule with inflation in today's time,
They'll be bankrupt.
that is a different thing. So, if that is even possible, you would have to break down. You can't give it to 395 million people. You would have to start breaking down.
Just give it to their families then.
One person
But
per
see
family.
that, and then this is the catch where they're
One
gonna
person
throw.
per family?
This is where they're gonna throw the loop. Just because I know.
But
the
I
government.
have 5
Watch
kids
this.
and you have 1.
Watch this. They're gonna throw it just because I know the government because I worked for it. Okay.
What are they gonna do?
There is a certain library
Once you
that
work
was
for 'em, you
connected
always
to
work for
every black individual born in this country that was burnt in a fire intentionally. Look it up.
There was what?
A library that had everything connected every African American that came on the ship, and your family was here, this plantation, that was destroyed.
Yeah, we
So
know.
now what happens?
The evidence of reparation has been burned.
See, people don't think about those particular things.
they think about it. If you're thinking about this,
it's
you're thinking about
crazy. It's crazy, bro. But it's like they got.
But let me ask. Is it a sliding scale or is it a flat rate? That's number one.
I think it should be a flat rate, untaxed.
Okay, so it's a flat rate. So that means
that we agree on though.
Untaxed.
Hold
That
on.
is the flat rate. Do we agree on the flat
We
rate?
would have to.
The number don't matter. The number don't matter because your biracial argument goes away.
It do matter.
There is no such thing as getting half the amount for being biracial because it's a flat rate, right? So then I would say, what about the people who come from, let's say you came from actual Africa, your grandmom is from Africa.
Okay.
Y'all didn't come over here on those slave ships.
Okay.
But as the grandson, your dialect, there's no African accent. Y'all from the Bronx.
Let me say this again.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold
I'll
on.
wait. I'll
Hold
wait,
on.
brother. I'll wait.
The history and the trauma and the thing that happens to a descendant of a slave that happens to someone who is not a slave. Once again, that African family can send money and take culture back to Africa. Or what if you are from the Caribbean, 3 generations deep? What if you are black in America for generations, You have a lot of the oppressions. You have all of the oppressions that a Black American would have. You have all of the disadvantages that a Black American would have. But then your family history does not share the slave heritage. Do they get it?
Are you ready? Can I answer now? Unless you want to answer.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Make sure I'm clear on this again. If you wasn't here, or your people wasn't here prior to 1865,
No.
But on the census,
but let me finish. Let me finish.
I gotta rebut that.
go for it.
If your people weren't here when this was created, okay, they were in Africa. No. However, I think you're still owed something. If you are now, you are not country. You American. It's just like I was born in this city, but I was raised in this.
So
city.
you're owed money for nothing.
No, because
You said that they're
this
owed
is the
something.
thing about it. Slavery has been everywhere.
So why do
Every continent that a boat dropped from the heavy continents of Haiti, coming through the Cubas and all that, to the most minute population of Africans that came from. I mean, that's how I know for a fact.
that wasn't my example?
That
Okay, wait. Before we even go there, though, do you not agree that not all slaves in America came from Africa? Do you think it's a possibility?
Yes.
Do you think it's a possibility that Black people were already here?
Yes.
Like a good number, though.
A certain number, yes. Absolutely.
And do you think it's a possibility that good number of Black people that were already here, that didn't come from Africa, who were enslaved?
I believe they were not enslaved while they were here. Because we have to look at something.
Really?
When you get to looking at the geographical, the globe itself, a lot of these pieces connected. We already know that. We all graduated, right? So we know that a lot of these continents at one point of time
We're talking about the beginning of America. We ain't talking about Pangea.
Right.
I'm talking about at one point in time, everything was connected, where there was life, before it was separated. You can't tell me that the separation happened prior to humans being on this earth.
Right, Black people are everywhere.
My point exactly. So yes,
And
some
have
of
been
us,
everywhere.
Some of us that are here, and that
So-
may,
so-
and that may make for the percentage if it makes sense.
But you're saying they weren't slaves? They didn't become slaves? So you telling me
they may have become
That only
slaves.
only Africans were slaves.
No, I probably heard that wrong. I'm sure that they probably did become slaves
okay?
because of the power of the government.
So then making a distinction between which slave island you are or are not from, and how many generations
Let me ask
back
you
we
a
go,
question again.
we're gonna make a division there. Is what
So-
I'm saying.
That is absolutely because you gotta
So
recognize.
again,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking the question.
But I'm answering your question. So again, I would go back to my first statement. So those individuals were here prior to 1865 when this information came out. They were just free individuals that were put into enslavement, but they were still here. It's just like Native Americans.
So are they owed?
Huh?
Are they owed?
Yes, absolutely. They're owed in reality more than us.
So back to my example. If your grandmother is from Africa and you've been in the Bronx your whole life, are you owed?
That's something that I think.
That's a good question.
That's a
I'm gonna
very
say
good
I'm gonna say yes.
That's a very good
I'm gonna say
question,
yes
bro.
by default because if my
I
grandma
mean,
not
that's a very
here,
good
my
question.
grandma not here, I'm a direct descendant, and everything passes
Your
down.
grandma
to your
didn't go
heir.
through slavery, and none of your culture did. You're basically
You
a white
saying
person.
you saying you came from Africa and
That's
never
what
went
that's what
through
he's saying.
slavery at all?
Right, but you live.
I'm
here.
saying that America is not owed to Africans for what Africans did to Africans. We're talking about what they did to Americans.
Well, we became the ones that were
Orphan Americans, descendants of slaves. We're talking about what American colonizers to build this country
I see your
did to the the imports in order to help build this country.
To those who got the,
we're not talking about
yeah.
the atrocities that happened during apartheid in America and what's owed. America doesn't. I don't see how America could be responsible.
You mean Africa?
And no, I don't see how America could be responsible for what Africans did to Africans in Africa.
Well, yeah, no, I hear you on that. Yeah, I hear you on that.
So my point is, she's 65. She's 78. She from Africa. Not only is she too young to have been a slave, there is no American history there that makes you a descendant of a slave. You're just the grandson of an immigrant.
Oh, you're saying so even all black people don't get it.
There goes my
Well,
question.
Of course, I mean, but like I said, that's where all the guidelines and stuff gonna come in, man. Just because a person is Jewish don't mean they getting got any bread.
But what if you've suffered all of the same oppression?
I'm giving you the same question you're asking.
It's a good question, man.
It's a great question.
I mean,
I can guarantee that every Jewish person didn't get bread just because they're
just
passed.
Okay, so basically, what you're saying is they still don't benefit from the same systemic profile or racial things or discriminations that we go through in today. However, they have no relation to how America's became America.
They have no connection.
People with PTSD.
They have no connection to the descendants of slaves in America. They have no connection to slaves in America. They are black, living in America. They identify as black because what other box would I check? But
you did, like Eric said though, how do you, if the library is destroyed, how do you differentiate so just because my name is Richard or my last name is Smith, am I entitled to reparations?
I haven't got that far. I'm asking, the number one cut could be, you're not really black American like that. You're an immigrant. And you don't even count. Now we took that number of 395 down to probably closer to 200, 250, something like that.
Okay.
Now, what about the folks who are currently naturalized? They're the first generation worth of people coming from another. We're talking about 395.5 million people who are the collective of everyone who identifies as black in America, right?
But okay.
But the descendants of slaves is a much smaller number.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So is reparations owed to all black people in America?
No.
Or the descendants of slaves?
Descendants of slaves. So
if we're going to talk about the descendants of slaves, aren't you creating one hell of a divide?
I mean, it is already divided if that's the case. We just talked about a show, recently where we were talking about how you can get the black community together, right? Like, it's already a divide as it is. Like, the Puerto Ricans is over here, like we was mentioning, and the Chinese is over here doing their thing. It's already a divide in the black community. So, like,
I have a question for you.
You black and I'm black. You live in apartment 201. I live in apartment 101. I got a check and you didn't. What's the difference between me and you?
Well, I mean, once again, you'd have to be a descendant of slavery.
So, I get shitted on, I get no loans, I get called a nigga, I get all of the same stuff.
It's not for you, just like everything is not for everyone.
So now I'm not black.
Can I ask
you? No one said you were not black.
Can I ask a question?
Imagine how they would feel.
Sure.
Are Mexicans all reparations too?
We ain't talking about Mexico.
I'm just saying, okay.
Why would that be?
Their land was taken.
They went to war.
Just like Indians' land was taken.
They went to war for it and lost it, but Mexico still exists.
Their land was Hawaiians. Should they be able to own their own land?
It's American though.
It's American.
Yeah.
They hope that should they be able to own their own land, not be America. So if they want to be Hawaiian or
not Hawaiian American,
not American Samoa, but Samoa, should they have that right?
They do.
No, they don't.
There's several islands where you have to be Samoa in order to.
No, bro, you don't
get
it. America still owns this place, so they are not an entity of themselves.
No matter what.
You can look this up and look in it.
Hold on. Hawaiian culture still exists.
Okay.
Samoan culture still exists.
Okay, so
the
African
island
culture
of
still
the
exists.
island of Hawaii, the location of Mexico, all of their culture still exists.
Okay.
That is not the same as someone who was speaking a culture and had a whole entire life over here, came over here and was completely cut off from a thing. Not only,
I think it's very much the
you
same.
look into
It's
Hawaiian
very much the same. They went over there and invaded Hawaii,
It still
and so
exists.
the queen gave up, and then
What tribe are you from?
it's very much the
still don't
same.
understand,
It's very
bro.
much the same. The only thing that they
Hawaiian
didn't do
culture
was go
still
over there
exists.
and take them and turn them into workers for nothing. But
And that
The
don't
only
even
people who could compare is the Native American. To have a motherfucker kick in the door to your house and tell you, you can live in the bathroom or I'm gonna kill you.
Okay.
And you say, fine, I'll have the
Did I
bathroom.
not just say about Hawaii, bro?
yeah, that's the point you was trying to make.
Hawaiian culture. What tribe are you from? What is my culture?
So because you know what tribe you're from,
Your culture still exists.
Okay, Dre. You can go on what is it called today? What's the ancestry.com? You can find your culture there if that's the case.
What tribe is that?
I mean, you can find it through ancestry.com.
Compared to, you can ask your grandmother who's from Africa what tribe you guys
Well,
are from.
I mean, I'm on an
and she'll
island.
give you an answer.
I mean, I'm on an island, so it's easier for me.
So
to
are we
be able
talking
to
about
teach you
are we
culture.
talking about islanders or are we talking about the black descendants of
I'm
slaves?
talking about. I'm giving you an example. I'm trying to show you that just as black descendants of slaves, just as
a lot of people are owed some
a lot
shit,
of
but we
people
ain't
owe
talking about them. Don't water down the point. This is why I get offended when black people say the issues of black and brown folks. No. Brown people have issues. Black people have issues.
I'm trying to get you
Handle
a point.
your shit. I'm talking about black people. I'm
not-
talking about the descendants of slaves, orphan Americans. We're talking about reparations.
You want me to be real with you? You're not gonna get your reparations, Trey.
I'm not asking for them.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm
I
not
know
asking
people
for
want them. I know they really want it and everything, but you really.
I think that we're owed, but don't wait for them.
Yeah. I mean, if
I personally
if you've been waiting-
think because of this conversation, don't
Wait,
even
hold up.
pursue them.
How many years is that since 1865? I want to know, bro. How many years is that? 1860 is 2021.
1965 would be 100 years, so another 80 on top.
It's been 156 years black people been waiting on reparations. That was, let me use the exact words as they said. Rescinded.
Plus interest up in this bitch.
It was rescinded
Plus interest.
by your president Andrew Johnson. And the majority of the land went back to the white landowners, bro. So it's not gonna as much as we can talk about it, and this was sad. So a conclusion I can say, I don't know what, I mean, this is just me. I don't know what else ammo you got, Dre, or what other points you can proceed to, you know. You got a lot of information, man. You got a way to change the thought process. I personally just don't feel that. You know, my conclusion is that, dog, it's just something that I don't see happening, bro. I don't see happening because this is my thing. If it does happen, it's so many different things. But me, I don't think we don't even need to be worried about reparations as much as we should. I think we should be worrying about the amendment that can prevent you and I from being a slave again. That to me.
But your life don't change. Nothing at all happens other than
Okay,
a law
so
somewhere
let me
that's
ask you a
invisible.
question then. So, all right.
How oppressed
All
are you right now?
I got reparations. I got a lot of money, Quentin. I got all this money. I'm balling. I got my whatever. But I'm going to prison.
Watch this. This is the answer. I times black people, the 395 million, times 40, as in 40 acres. That's 15.82 billion acres. I'll take that.
I'll take that. But that's also going to do what?
Is
to
there
this
that many acres?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I've been trying to say.
Square.
That's what I've been trying to say from the beginning, though. Is that America can't afford what they owe you, him, and me. For the stories that some of us been able to find about some of our family.
All the things that are lost.
We are, the crazy thing is that some of us who are born on this coast are more disconnected from our roots because we live over here.
So you think it's too far gone, it ain't gonna happen. What you think?
I kind of agree with him, man. Like, I feel like it's more so of a situation where do we even necessarily need reparations, or is it more of a acknowledgement of the destruction that you caused?
I hear you on that, but I feel like, man, we already taken down statues. That's a form of an apology. I don't need no damn apology. If you pay me, then I would consider that a sincere apology. That's what I would.
Okay. I mean, I see how you concluded. I just want to put this last point, and I'm done with it, bro. It's like this. Reparations, yes. It'll be valuable. It'll be important. It'll be great for us to have it and everything. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, what's more important, that's the problem, I think, with our people. We don't look at what's more important. The 13th Amendment. Amendment.
You finna go back to it?
This is something important because I didn't get to finish what I'm saying, man. Constitutionally, man, illegal. You're still a slave. Slavery is still a constitutional legal thing in the United States of America. So what's the point of reparations? What's the point of money when a person can come to a unanimous vote if they so choose?
So would that change the prison system? Because that's a form of slavery.
Right.
Bro, I'm just giving an example of what I think is more important that we need to be focusing on too. If we owe this, well, look, we need to make it all the way right. Just don't give me no money and cover it up or whatever when you can still do something to me and my people. That's just the point that I feel.
If that's the case, I still think you're thinking small. We need to be thinking about infrastructure. Right. We need to be thinking about how we build and make things for ourselves, because dollars talk. And if we got our own generated dollars, then we can change and make our own fucking amendments. I don't even know why we even talking about amendments.
If we gain power. So let me ask one last question. If we got rid of the 13th Amendment, would you consider that reparations with no money?
No.
Okay.
Oh no,
that's all.
That would only just be making it right. That would just be like how you would look at something as far as a moral standpoint or something like that. That would be to a point that, like, the reality of it is, and I look at it in all nations or colors or whatever, if we United States of America. So from that point on, saying anything outside of that, I'm an American, bro, that's a crime. Now that there's no more. I mean, I'm not saying that, oh yeah, we're gonna stop calling each other out derogatory names. That's just the American way. That's just everybody do it. But I'm just saying a reality check is that now, at that point, now there's no question, because I'm as equal. Because now you're recognizing that I don't need an amendment to protect me from being in chains. I don't need, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to go to an HBCU just to be accepted among my peers. I get equal opportunity across the board like everybody else. Just like Indians. What's the point of getting money? It's just like the Indians. What's the point of getting land if your land ain't worth nothing? They can come and dig the oil that's in your territory. So
they gotta get your permission.
They didn't get their permission.
Yeah, they did take it back. It was some kind of what's that thing called that the government can do?
They straight up dug them people's stuff up.
Not eminent domain.
That's like me saying, you bought this land.
There's some kind of.
But I'm finna just come dig some up in this land you bought from me. You bought my house. But I want the pipe that's underneath the house.
There's some kind of government. There's some kind of government thing that says, like, for example, if the border changes or if we have a need to put up a wall and you own that property, we can still run a wall through your property because the border of America changed. Or if we need that to open up to create a gate here, to create a gate here, even though it's on your property, it sits on the border of America. So therefore, we are allowed to take it and use it how we see fit, because things are more important than your property ownership is kind of how I see it. But I feel you on that. As y'all can see, this is a very layered topic.
It's worth having a discussion about.
This is a very thing that the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, the more you unravel yet another thing. And I'm not trying to convince anybody, but I'm most definitely trying to give more than one side to a serious issue. And this is something that I think we're going to do, that we're trying to do on all of our conversations. So with that, I'm done with the reparations talk for now, and you got it, dude. You got it, Q.
And I'm good.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for listening.
We appreciate y'all.
Hey, check this out, man.
Hit them comments.
We really
Likes
need
and
your
subscribes.
support. We really need your support, like my man said. You know what I'm saying? So if you like,
share,
you know what I'm saying, the
subscribe.
content being shared, man, share your comments. Bring up some things you think that our community needs to talk about, man. Believe me, we'll shout you out. We'll talk about it
For sure.
Merchandise coming out, but please, man, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell so when you see it, you know what I'm saying. When we come out, it's gonna come to you.
You know what I need to let y'all know? That we haven't been letting y'all know. This is the 15th.
Or
We're going to have to let y'all know exactly one of these shows what that 15 means, because it's got something to do with this state of Nevada and the 15, you know what I'm saying? And you'll get it. You'll get it. Eventually you'll get it and understand, but this is the show, you know what I'm saying? And we're trying to bring it to you.
Yeah.
100. Be easy.